Call the Property Management Committee to order for Thursday, January 28th. I'd like to welcome everyone here. Appreciate you being out tonight. At this time, I'd like for Commissioner Coggin to lead us in prayer.
Please bow. Most gracious and heavenly Father, we humbly approach your throne this evening. God, thanking you for this day. Father, be with us tonight as we go about the county's business. Father, may we do it in a holy and pleasing way. It's in your Son's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Rogers, would you lead us in pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first we need to entertain a motion to approve minutes of the last meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed those, found them in order, and approved that they be, and move that they be approved as mailed.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minute. Any discussion? Any deletions or additions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, first, we have an update on the clerk's building.
Okay, Clark's building is progressing. I don't know if any of you Smyrna residents have been down there, but I talked to our architect's representative today, and they had a meeting and with the contractor. And my question was, are we going to be ready to occupy March the 1st? And they said, yes, we're on schedule. So that's the good news. I mean, they still have to work hard, I think, to accomplish that. I think we mentioned that we had revised the entry there and added a few parking spaces. We're taking care of that. There will be a change order on that. We also had identified some need for some signage out there on Weekly Lane to get us directed into the right direction so that we wouldn't have any traffic jams, and that's been taken care of. And the city, in fact, has now told us that they can put that on the right-of-way, the street right-of-ways, and they'll provide those signs. So they're going to do that for us, I believe. So that's good news. So other than that, I really don't think there's anything else to say except we just need to get it. All the furnitures and et cetera, all of that's ordered. Some of it's already been delivered. It's in storage at the person's place of business where they're going to install it. And our OIT department is taking care of all the technology, getting the cables and all that stuff prepared for the computers and other devices that they have in there. So all that's underway.
Ribbon cutting?
We haven't set a ribbon cutting day. I was thinking maybe we ought to even do it maybe after we've been in there a week or two and they sort of got settled, but we haven't really discussed that with Georgia Lynch officially. And Mr. Johnson suggested that maybe he thought that we should, whenever we do it in the afternoon, like 4 o'clock or something, or thereabouts, where more people can come to so we'll work on that a little bit later.
The building's looking good. I go by there just about every day checking on it. They do have the brick finish. That makes it look a lot better. But they're still busy, very busy over there. Any other questions? Next, we had to discuss the ATM machines or machine at the court clerk building, the existing court clerk's building up here in town. Mr. Brown.
Well, I talked to Georgia about the ATM machine. I was asking her, was she going to put one down there in Smyrna? And she doesn't think she wants to recommend even putting one down there. She's not going to put one down there, I don't think. The one that's here now is not being used with the same amount of frequency it was initially because she has those devices, that the tellers have access to accept debit cards, etc. And that's pretty much supplanted a lot of the use of that ATM machine. So she's not going to place one in the Smyrna location, and she's not sure how much longer the current provider here in Murfreesboro wants to leave that there. It's not really producing any real revenue, so they tell her. that's about all I have on that, really.
Well, when the machine we have now, the present machine we have, when it was installed, we didn't have any kind of bid out. It was just installed, and not bashing anybody for it. Things just happened, and that's one thing. It just happened. It never went through committee, and I felt like that if we're going to do something like that, we need to do it right. I mean, we do have a process that we normally go through, and that would be to put anything like that out for bid, because that is possibly a moneymaker, or even if it's not a moneymaker for the county, it is for the people that at least it advertises, if not making money for the institution that puts that anytime machine in. So I'm just opening it up for discussion. I feel like that if we're going to keep an ATM over there, we need to go ahead and put it out for bid and make it official that we've done it right, and offered anyone else a chance to bid on that, and it may be the same people or maybe somebody else, and I don't know what the reason would be for the low usage of it, but putting it out for bid could change that. I don't know.
How long has it been there?
Since we opened, I think.
I'm not aware of when it was put in there.
I think it was put in the first year.
It electronics and communications and so forth has changed a lot since it went in, because they didn't have the debit cards at that time.
Right. I
really
really
remember some of the discussion on it.
right. But if people are using it, even if it's a low usage, I'd hate to see that option taken away from the public. I mean, it's pretty convenient if you go in there and realize you didn't bring a check, you can run out there and get the cash.
Are we receiving income for that machine being there?
No.
So if we bid it, would they be submitting that they would pay us to allow that machine in there, or?
That's something we would need to decide.
I mean, if we were receiving revenue, I could see bidding it out, but it's just in there
It's there
static.
for basic service.
Right.
I think we have bid it out before, but nobody come in. There was something about a bid on it one time.
Mm-hmm. I think we would have to put it out for bid for some type of rental of that space. Like I said, to have it effective to be bid on.
Wanda.
Here.
Is Wanda here?
Well, I guess I don't think Mrs. Lynch, I don't know if we ask her whether she'll even necessarily say that, she recommends that we even keep it, so she didn't seem to be overly concerned if the current vendor even removed it. I mean, she indicated they had some discussion about maybe they might just take it out.
Mhm.
So if they do that, then, and she doesn't choose to want to replace it, then we don't have to bid it. So I guess we need a decision from her on really where does she want to go with it? What do we really think she
Well,
should do?
That's true, but as county commissioner and trying to find ways to help the public, the taxpayers deal with their daily issues, I feel like it's, even if two people use it, as long as a bank or a financial institution will put one in there and it doesn't cost us, I feel like we need to keep one.
I guess you
in
could
the
put it out
building.
for a request for proposals.
Right.
And just offer it to the local banks to see who wants to place one there.
I mean, it's up to them what they would bid. We wouldn't have to put a minimum. Well, we could, but if they bid $1 a month or whatever, or $1 period for a year, whatever they bid, if they outbid the other institutions, then they would get it, I would think. So, I do hate to see us just remove that if someone's willing to put it in. or keep one in.
Well, I don't think she's going to take it out, but there appears to be some risk that they might just take it out. If they do, then
Right.
we would have to put it out for a request for proposals.
I think that's what you're asking for. You're asking for them to take that one out, then everybody bid to put one back in there. And if nobody bids it and we lose that one, then you're.
Well, I'm not
Start that
asking them
in.
to take it out, I'm just asking that we put it out. I mean, they're there now, and I couldn't see just telling them, hey, get out until we get a bid.
Oh, they'd stay there until that, but then they may choose not to bid. But if they do, then you still got that one alternative.
Right.
Who is it?
But I just don't think it's fair for
Pinnacle Bank has it now.
someone to be allowed to put their name on something and not offer it to everyone else. I mean, I'm no attorney, but I would think it would be close to being illegal, actually.
I don't have a dog in this hunt. It's just not an important matter to me. One way or the other, I just don't have an opinion. I think that if usage is going down and we're uptown Murfreesboro and there's a dozen banks within walking distance, it would serve the same purpose as a machine being there. Anthony, I just don't have an issue with one being there, an issue with not one being there. And somebody wanted to put one in there and they did, and just leave it there. If you want it there for the convenience, just leave it there and not make an issue out of it. If we're trying to collect some rent or something like that, it might be a little bit different, but if we're really worried about it, convenience to citizens, then just leave it there. It's there.
I honestly suspect it would be a money loser for any bank to put an ATM in there, because you've got to charge a lot of $2 little fees to account for the machine itself, the servicing of the machine, the power to, all the things that go along with it. I can't believe that they make it. It would be more of a public service or advertising thing than it would be anything else.
I'm not real sure why people would use it anymore there anyway. If we've got debit cards, that you can use a debit card just like you can a check, writing a check. I'm just not real sure what the need for that thing would be, unless somebody wanted to get cash, I guess.
Mr. Farley?
Out of the audience here, but best, I'm going off memory, and I believe it was bid out a few years back. And because the reason it was put in there was because I don't think they accept debit cards at the clerk's office.
Initially, they did not.
Initially, they didn't.
Right.
And I think that's the reason why it was put in place over there. And like I said, I'm going off memory. and
That's what
sometimes
I'm doing, going on
memory fails
memory.
me.
There were some other banks that, seemed to me like there was other banks that bid, but it wasn't profitable enough for them to,
Well,
because I think it hung home by a string then.
and the research that was done, we couldn't find anything where it had been bid
I
out.
was, like I said, I was going off memory, and it fails me
Mhm.
sometimes.
Who does it belong to?
Pinnacle Bank.
No, I guess my question would be we continually hear people talking about ethics, and, is it ethical to just let someone put one in or bid it out? It does have a name on it. That is advertisement. And Lord knows they need a good name nowadays in the banking business. So maybe we need to get an attorney's opinion whether we're okay the way we are, if somebody can stir something up on it. But I'd rather address it now than to get a black eye later. That's, I guess that's my point. I don't have a problem with the bank that's there. No, not at all.
I'll leave that to the clerk.
See what she wants to do. If she wants it out, just take it out. Taking up space.
She's happy for it to stay there.
Okay.
But she doesn't think it merits putting another one in and going through that process down there because the usage is just not there now. We can find out if there's any legal reason that we must, you might say, rebid this, or if we can leave it there, grandfathered or otherwise, I don't. And I haven't tried to check, but Mr. Johnson indicates there's no evidence that it was ever bid, so I have no information on that period.
There was something, maybe it was just some of them come together. There was something about them putting it in. I don't remember just exactly. There is something there.
Well,
Now, they may have something. The bank may have something.
something that was there was when it was done, I questioned it, and nothing was ever done one way or another to see if it was right. So I questioned it again. And, I'm not just trying to stir something up. I just see that, I'm tired of us having a black eye from something that was done in years past. And if we can head something like that off, that's fine. Since it seems like nobody is interested, I'll just check with the county attorney. If the county attorney says we're okay, then we're okay. And if we're not, I'll bring it back up. And
See what the bank tells you. Georgia can find out.
I'll research this, and if there's a problem with it, I'll get back with you. Okay, under any other business, and I apologize for this being under any other business, but I failed to remember the day that we were doing the agenda, Mr. Farley, to get the fallen firefighters memorial back on there. We had discussed it at previous meetings and supposed to bring it back to when you got the information, and you did tell me that you had the information, but I failed to get it on the agenda, but now we're bringing it up under any other business.
That's quite all right.
Thank you.
I got a little handout here for you. I told y'all that when I come up here, I'd bring something back up here and pass it. Take one, pass it. Kind of give y'all an idea of what this is going to look like. What I've got here is first of all, I'd like to thank the lady in working with me, Laurie Alsop, and I also want to thank Commissioner Hall. And we kind of got a committee of three that's doing this. Laurie and Rick and myself are the committee that's kind of doing this. Roselawn Memorial Gardens. Laura and I met with that gentleman, and they put this together for us. I kind of told them what we wanted, and like y'all had talked before, you wanted it to be just like the FOP one out here. It's going to be the same size as the FOP. The only difference is going to be where it says this right here, where it's got the firefighter with the child, and it talks about the Rutherford County Fallen Firefighter Memorial, where I think on the FOPs is, Rick, you better answer it.
The Stone River Lodge they have.
Right.
Lodge number one.
And it's going to have the Maltese cross all around it, just like it has on each side here, as you see in the paper. And it's going to have the language there. And it's also going to talk about, it's got the 3 firefighters there, that the 2 of them in Murfreesboro, and there was 1 in Allenville Volunteer Fire Department. And that's all we've had, and I hope we never have another one. But just in case, we'd like to see this memorial put out there to honor those people who have given the ultimate sacrifice for their county. The
Roselawn, like I said, has basically, they've been a good neighbor to us. They've offered it to us at cost. And you can't get no better than that. The only thing they're going to need us to do is somehow, when it comes time, on the grounds out here, the square where it would be, some concrete set or whatever. And I was kind of hoping that we could get Mr. Mankin and maybe some of the workhouse members, if they could do that at that time, and then Roselawn will come in and set it in place at that time. Like we say, we're in the process. It's going to be a China black, just like it's out there now, and it's marble, and it's going to be beautiful. It's not going to be look any different than what's out there now. Matter of fact, I've already had, matter of fact, if this thing is approved tonight, on our February 11th meeting, the president of the Murfreesboro Fire Department's Firefighters Association is wanting to come and during public comments and present a $500 check for us on this. And also, I've had another volunteer fire department they haven't given the money yet, but they've already raised it, and they took up $200 just out of the firefighters in their department took up and give cash. So there's already right now $700 committed. And Rick, today we got a letter we're going to send out to different people. Rick come by my office and he signed it. I've signed it, and Lori has signed it, and we're going to start emailing it out to different people and different businesses. And
How much does this cost? Do you think what is the cost maybe?
the cost is going to be right at $4,000. I had thought at first it was going to be between $5,000 and $7,500. If it hadn't been for Roselawn Memorial Gardens doing it at cost, we'd have had to pay a whole lot more money, and they're going to do it at cost for us.
Do you have the specs for the base, or are there specs specifically for the base, like how deep it has to be, how wide?
That's going to depend on, once we get it, I'm not sure what that's going to be.
That's what I'm saying. Can we get that from Roselawn?
Yeah, that's going to be no problem.
We don't want it toppling over. Someone
it's going to be where it will be sturdy enough to hold it, and where it will be anchored down and stuff.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the memorial.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the memorial.
Yeah, we talked about that today.
Any other discussion? Gary, I appreciate you doing this.
Well, I'm doing it because there's, when a firefighter goes down and gives their life, I think they need to be recognized from then on. But also, I want to thank y'all for allowing this to happen. I want to thank Roselawn for doing what they've done, and because without that, we couldn't do this. And I want to thank the businesses that are, and the firefighters that actually donate some money too. So it's all about the people that's giving that ultimate sacrifice. That's who it's about. And Congress, hopefully, when we can find out when Congress has approved the Firefighter Memorial Day, we might be able to coincide and have a dedication out here during that day or something. But I want to have a dedication, and I want everybody to be invited, and we'll have a big deal out there about it for everybody.
Be good. Any other discussion?
Mr. Farley, if somebody wanted to donate, I know you're sending a letter out, but if somebody doesn't get a letter, can they call? Should they just call you, or where can they send a check? Who do they make it out to?
They can call me, or they can call Commissioner Hall, or they can call Lori Alsop and she works in my office. Or they can. I wish I had the letter, the PO number.
Give a telephone number for the.
I tell you what, they can call me. My personal cell phone number is 456-4123. 456-4123, and I'll be more than glad to. What I'm doing, I'm doing this on my own time. It's not interfering with my day-to-day job, and it's the same way with Laura, and the same way with Commissioner Hall.
Can you send one of those letters, you may already have it, to the paper, all the papers, maybe they'll publish something about it, and maybe we'll get
That's a
some
good idea.
response from that too.
We've kind of got a train of thought that we think of avenues and suppliers that we're going to kind of go to on this. It's not a huge sum of money. We don't want to get a overabundant amount of money, and when we're only got a fixed issue of what we're trying to do. I mean, if there does get over, then we'll come back with some kind of plan of dispersing the rest of that. But through these few things that we feel that we may be able to go to with truck companies and things that make fire apparatus for us that we bid out, that we'd be able to go to them and maybe get this taken care of.
I've got 2 companies that have verbally committed. I don't know what the dollar amount is, but they verbally committed that they're interested in doing this as well. So, and I know with some of Rick's connections down on the north end of the county, that's going to be a big help too. Because we want this to be inclusive for everybody in Rutherford County, whether it be Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, any volunteer agency in the county. Because it's all about, because a fire doesn't know if you're a paid firefighter or you're a volunteer. You can get killed either way, and it's all inclusive.
They don't know what districts they're in either.
Exactly.
And we have a motion and a second to approve the memorial. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Carries.
Thank you.
Okay. And that is, just reemphasize, that is no county funds.
No, sir. I'm not asking counties or the
Right.
cities or the town. I mean, now if they wanted us up and do it, that's on them. But they're not going. I mean, they're not going to be asked.
We're just
Right.
asking for the space next to the
Right.
LP money.
Right.
So we can do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted everyone that's watching to understand that. Don't think anyone really have a problem if we were giving some money, but we're not at this time. Okay. Is there any other business to come before this committee?
Mr. Rogers, I have been told that the city has approved the plans as submitted on the Adult Activity Center paving back there, so I don't think we've mobilized equipment yet, but we'll get moving on that.
Anything else? Okay. Since there's no other business to come before this committee, we stand adjourned.